I'm Merv Connelly with the Daily Planet, and a fellow here who dabbles in sound and who thinks he's got a good thing, Terry Todd. And I see the title on the tape here is, how is it, ApocWallypse?
ApocWallypse.
ApocWallypse.
No.
Just exactly what have we done here?
Well, in December, is when I first heard The Wall, and at the end of December, I went to see ApocWallypse Now. And during the movie, that there was certain things in there that reminded me of The Wall, but I didn't take it any further than that. But at the end of January, when the album came out in the stores, I picked up the album mainly for the Doors, The End, because the copy I've got at home, which is 14 years old, is all scratchy and that, and I like that cut. So I brought it home, and I put it on the turntable, and I listened to it for about 5 minutes until we got into the helicopters. And I thought, just for the heck of it, I'm going to stop it here, and I'm going to take the helicopter sounds from the wall, and I'm going to put them together, just for the heck of it, like for my own. So I did that, and I went back into the, listening to the album again. And I thought, well, that here's an interesting place to put the happiest days of our lives. So I put that particular piece in right up to the part where he says, like where Pink Floyd says The Wall, and I cut it right there before the little 5-second drum piece came in, and then we get into the School Kids.
Yeah.
And listened to some more of the album and stopped it again, and I started working with this. Like I hadn't even listened to the soundtrack of ApocWallypse in its entirety. I was listening to it as I was doing it.
And whenever something there struck you, when familiar with theme was similar with The Wall, you just brought it in.
This is the end. Can you picture what will be? So limitless and free, desperately in need of some stranger's hand in a desperate land.
In scene 1 of the movie, Captain Willard is dreaming in a Saigon rooming house, and he visions himself back in the jungles of the Vietnam War. Helicopters whirling above his head begin his nightmares once again, only this time, his SEAL is standing in the doorway of the bird, shouting orders to him, "You, yes you, stand still, laddie." He wakes up at that point. And he thinks to himself, when he was home after his first tour, it was worse. The nightmares were worse. He hardly said a word to his wife except yes to a divorce. When I was home, all I could think of was getting back into the jungle. Captain Willard is waiting for a mission. Each time he looks around his room, the walls moved in a bit tighter. We now bring in the happiest days of our lives.
Yeah.
For each one of the wall pieces that I bring in, for the ApocWallypse album, I'm playing the ApocWallypse album in its entirety. I'm just lifting the cue arm, and I'm bringing it right back to where I had lifted it from before. I'm not actually cutting anything out. They're then talking about that there's 2 places they can get into the village at the mouth of the stream that's going to take them up to the Cambodian border, and that's basically their first wall that they have to impregnate. Kilgore sends in a gunship division for the first for the first on-screen action, and with the down planes, I then bring in intro. There were 47 German planes were destroyed. Simon, Simon, where are you? And then the explosions match up, where the explosion from the plane on the wall album is coming down, and just as it explodes, I bring in the explosion from the Apocalypse.
German planes were destroyed, for the loss of only 15 of our own aircraft.
You smell that? You smell that? Napalm, son! Nothing else in the world smells like that! I love the smell of napalm in the morning. You know, one time we had a hail bomb? For 12 hours, when it was all over, I walked up. We didn't find one of them, not one stinking dink body. The smell! You know that gasoline smell? A whole hill. It smelled like victory. Someday this war's gonna end.
Now, scene 4. This is where we start getting into the good part here. We're walking through a jungle, looking for mangoes, and there's exotic birds calling out, and there's deep jungle sounds, and the background music for Apocalypse is designed for this particular scene. Danger lurks nearby. Intro, is there anybody out there? Match close in sound. Now what happened here was that on the left side of the stereo tape, on the left side that I had the Apocalypse playing, and on the right speaker I had the wall playing, and they're matched perfectly in sound, from real birds to electronic birds. When James Arness is talking on the television for that particular scene, part of the wall, is there anybody out there? He's talking about we better get going. The sun's, we better camp out or whatever. The sun's coming down, and as he's talking, the left speaker of Apocalypse says, "Listen." And then right at that point you hear Pink Floyd, "Is there anybody out there?" And both of the sounds are just, well, you have to hear it. We're gonna hear it. Okay.
How come they call you?
Call me what, sir?
Chef. Did you like mangoes and stuff?
No, sir. I'm a real chef. I'm a saucier. Yes, sir. See, I come from New Orleans. I was raised to be a saucier. Great saucier.
What's a saucier?
I specialize in sausage. Gotta be a mango tree here somewhere. Then I was supposed to go to Paris, study at the Scoffier School. Then I got orders from this. Anybody out there? Anybody out there? Anybody out there?
Willard finds some men on the boat uneasy about their destination, a wall again. He confides in the skipper of the boat that they're going beyond the Cambodian border, and they're not supposed to go up that far, but that's classified. So that's another wall, is this border that they have to get through. Willard is reading over his info sheets on Kurtz, and he reads a letter that Kurtz sent to his son that the Army intercepted. And in the letter, Kurtz is speaking of the love that he tries to convey in the letter to his son. At that point, we bring in another brick on the wall, part 1, Daddy's Flown Across the Ocean. Scene 6, the Dolong Bridge was the last Army outpost. Beyond it, there was only Kurtz. There's another wall. Chef is impressed with the scene at the bridge, only to have Lance inform him that it's beautiful, just beautiful. And Lance tells Chef about that last tab of acid he was saving. I dropped it. It's really beautiful. And Chef says, "What? Far out." And at that point there, I introduced another brick on the wall, part 3. I have seen the writing on the wall. Don't think I need anything at all. Don't need any arms around me. Don't need any drugs to calm me.
Yeah. You dropped acid?
Captain Willard and Chef are in their cabin on the boat, plotting a course of action to take if anything should happen to Willard on the first meeting with Kurtz. They are right outside the encampment of the mission they were sent on to terminate Kurtz. Intro, waiting for the worms. Sitting in a bunker here behind my wall, waiting for the worms to come, etc., etc. Scene 10, where this is the last scene now. Kurtz is washing his face, and he's asking Willard why they sent him to terminate his command. When told it is classified, Kurtz gets angry and says, "It's no longer classified, is it?" Kurtz informs Willard he has no right to call him a murderer. "You have a right to kill me, but you have no right to judge me." Therefore, Willard's mission to kill him is actually illegal, because you don't kill somebody because they're insane. You arrest them, bring them back, give them a fair trial. Now the Doors end the picture with the end, but Pink Floyd finishes off the story with Stop and the Trial. "Take off this uniform and leave the show. I am waiting in the cell because I have to know, have I been guilty all this time? Good morning, Worm, Your Honor." Worm being Kurtz, if he was, if it was a trial in heaven or whatever. "The Crown will plainly show the prisoner, being both Willard and the U.S. government, was caught red-handed showing feelings of the U.S. government of an almost human nature. Shame on him. This will not do." The defendant's wife then gets up and says, "You little shit, you're in it now. I hope they throw away the key. You should have talked to me more often, but no, you had to go your own way." Back to Vietnam. "Have you broken any homes up lately?" Of course, they got a divorce. Willard basically in his cell singing crazy, over the rainbow, I am crazy. Bars in the window, there must have been a door here in the wall when I came in, or when I took on this mission. And then I got with apologies to CBS and Elektra Records.